Hey everyone and welcome back. This deep dive is going to be all about synchronicity. Those moments where everything just seems to click into place in a way that feels just too meaningful to be random chance?
Yeah, totally. And you've sent some seriously cool sources my way that explore whether science, like specifically quantum physics, can actually give us some explanation for these experiences.
So let's unpack that connection.
Yeah.
What is it about quantum physics that could even like relate to synchronicity?
Well, one of the biggest mind benders in all of quantum physics has got to be non-locality. So the idea is that two particles can be totally linked, even if they're miles apart.
Okay.
So if you change one, the other one changes instantly, like faster than the speed of light.
I think I remember reading about that quantum entanglement, right?
Exactly. And the crazy thing is, it's been proven in experiments. So if particles can be connected like that on a quantum level, could seemingly unrelated events in our lives also be linked in ways we don't quite get yet? I mean, that's one way quantum physics might explain synchronicities, right?
So instead of just being random coincidences, they could be part of this bigger web of reality that's being governed by quantum principles. That's a wild
It
thought.
really is. It really makes you rethink the whole cause and effect thing, right?
Yeah.
There's also the observer effect, which is another big idea in quantum physics. It suggests that just by observing something, we might actually be changing what happens.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying that just by looking at something, we can change what happens to it?
Kind of, yeah. It's like in quantum experiments. When you measure a particle, you're actually affecting its state. And this gets really interesting. When you start to think about consciousness and its role in shaping reality, could our thoughts, our intentions, our very act of observing be influencing events in a way that we're just not even aware of?
Okay. My brain is starting to hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
But it does make you think about those times when you have a strong feeling about something,
Yeah.
and then it actually happens.
Exactly. And there's this book called Living in Flow that touches on this. The author talks about something called anticipated qualitative experience. Basically, it means what we expect to happen can actually affect how likely it is to happen.
So maybe our intentions and expectations are creating some sort of ripple effect in the quantum world.
Yeah.
And that's messing with the odds of certain events happening.
It's a fascinating possibility. Now, it's super important to remember that we're in the world of personal experiences and scientific theories right now. There's a ton we still don't know. And we got to be careful about jumping to conclusions. But thinking about these connections can really open up a whole new way of looking at how we connect with the world.
Speaking of mind-blowing connections, the synchronicity key mentions some research on quantum entanglement, but in biological systems. It suggests that quantum phenomena might actually be happening in living organisms.
Yeah, that's an area of research that's getting a lot of attention lately. There's some evidence out there that suggests things like photosynthesis and even how birds migrate could be influenced by quantum mechanics.
Whoa, so the same stuff that governs the subatomic world could be at work inside of us. That's huge.
It's a total paradigm shift. It suggests that life itself might be woven together with the quantum realm in ways we're just starting to understand. And if that's true, it brings up some really big questions about how our intentions, our consciousness, and even our biology might be connected to the very fabric of reality.
So we're not talking about some fringe theory here.
Right.
This is a legitimate area of scientific exploration that could totally change how we understand biology, consciousness, and even reality itself.
Absolutely. And it all circles back to synchronicity. If these quantum things are happening within us, could they be affecting those seemingly impossible coincidences that feel so meaningful? Could our own biology be shaping the synchronicities we experience?
Okay, now that is a mind-blowing thought.
Yeah.
And that's where we'll leave it for now.
Join us for part 2 of this deep dive, where we'll explore even more about these fascinating connections between synchronicity and the world of science. You know, it's amazing how these ideas really make you question how we usually think about reality.
Totally. It's like we're going beyond just cause and effect and into this realm where consciousness, intention, and even our DNA could be all tangled up with how the universe works.
That's what I find so captivating about looking at synchronicity through the lens of quantum physics. You know, it really pushes us to reconsider the limits we put on ourselves and the world around us.
So if we play with the idea that our intentions can actually shape reality on a quantum level, what does that even mean for us? How do we navigate this crazy new world?
Well, I think it's important to approach these ideas with a good sense of balance. You know, we're not talking about magic mind control where you can just wish for something and it'll appear.
Right.
But we are talking about the possibility that our thoughts, our beliefs, our expectations can influence how things unfold in some subtle way.
So it's more about recognizing that we're actively shaping our reality and not just passively observing it.
Exactly. And that's where that book, Living in Flow, brings in some really insightful points. The author, Sky Nelson Isaacs, talks about aligning what we do with our intentions and being open to the unexpected guidance that the universe might be sending our way.
I remember he mentioned a specific process for that, right? Something called Lorax.
Yes. Listen, open, reflect, release, act, and X repeat, basically. It's a roadmap for navigating synchronicity and making our world in a way that matches our deepest desires and intentions.
Okay, so break that down for me. How does this Lorax thing actually work?
Well, it all starts with listening, paying attention to your gut feelings, those intuitive nudges, and the random events that just feel meaningful or resonate with you.
So like those times when you're thinking about someone and then they call you out of the blue, or you stumble across a book or an article that perfectly answers a question you've been having.
Precisely. Those could be synchronicities trying to guide you. Don't
Yeah.
just brush them off as coincidences. Take a second to stop, reflect, and ask yourself, what could this mean? What's the universe trying to tell me?
So that's the reflect part, right?
Yeah.
Really thinking about those synchronicities and looking for a message or a pattern.
Exactly. And that's where journaling can be so helpful. Write down your experiences, your thoughts, your feelings. It can help you connect the dots and really understand what those synchronicities might be showing you.
And then there's release, letting go of any fixed ideas about how things should be, trusting that the universe has a bigger picture in mind, even if we can't see it yet.
Absolutely. It's all about going with the flow, being okay with the unknown, and letting the magic of synchronicity lead us toward our full potential.
And then finally we get to act,
Yeah.
actually doing something based on the guidance we've received from the universe.
This is where we step up and become co-creators of our reality. We take the insights we've gained from those synchronicities and turn them into actions.
So like if I feel drawn to a certain career path, I might start taking classes, networking with people in that field, or even just doing more research and talking to people about it.
Exactly. It's about aligning your actions with your intentions and having faith that the universe will support you along the way. And don't forget, X repeat, it's a cycle. We listen, reflect, release, act, and then we do it all over again.
It's like learning to dance with the universe,
Yeah.
getting in sync with its rhythm and flow.
Precisely. And the better we get at this dance, the more we might notice those synchronicities happening more often and becoming even more profound, leading us to a life filled with meaning, purpose, and those amazing chance encounters.
This whole conversation has really changed my perspective. It's like I'm seeing the world with new eyes, full of possibilities and connections I never noticed before.
That's the beauty of exploring these ideas. They encourage us to step outside our comfort zones and embrace a wider view of ourselves and the universe.
It's funny how we started with quantum physics, and now we're diving into personal growth and spirituality.
It's all connected. That's a key takeaway from this deep dive into synchronicity. It's not just some abstract scientific concept. It's a principle that's woven into our everyday lives.
It's like science and spirituality are coming together to reveal a deeper truth about what reality really is.
And as we keep exploring these connections, we might find that the lines between those disciplines start to blur, leading to a more complete and integrated understanding of the universe and ourselves.
Okay, so welcome back to our deep dive on synchronicity. It's been quite the journey, hasn't it? Through quantum physics and personal growth and this whole idea that we might be shaping our reality more than we even realize.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground, but I think the big question now is how do we actually use these ideas? How can we tap into that synchronicity power and make it work for us?
Yeah, because it's one thing to talk about quantum entanglement and the observer effect, but what does that actually mean for me when I'm sitting down on a Monday morning trying to plan my day?
Well, that's where I think the Lorax process we talked about earlier really comes in handy. It's not just some theory. It's a practical tool for working with synchronicity in our everyday lives.
Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks.
Mhm.
What are some actual steps we can take to start using Lorax in our own lives?
Well, the first step, if you remember, is to listen. Start paying attention to those little nudges, those intuitive whispers, and those random events that just spark some kind of meaning or connection for you.
You mean like when you're thinking about someone and then they call you out of nowhere? Or you stumble across a book or an article that seems to perfectly answer a question you've been thinking about?
Exactly. Those could be synchronicities trying to guide you. Don't just write them off as coincidence. Take a moment to pause, reflect, and ask yourself, what could this mean? What's the universe trying to show me here?
So that's the reflect part, right? Really taking the time to think about those synchronicities and see if there's a message or a pattern there.
Precisely. And this is where journaling can be such a powerful tool. Write down your experiences, your thoughts, your feelings. It can help you connect the dots and get a deeper understanding of what those synchronicities might be revealing.
And then we have release. letting go of any fixed ideas about how things should happen, and trusting that the universe has a bigger plan, even if we can't quite see it yet.
Yeah, it's about surrendering to the flow, embracing the unknown, and letting the magic of synchronicity lead us toward our full potential.
And finally, we get to act, taking action based on the guidance we've received from the universe.
This is where we step up and become co-creators of our own reality. We take those insights we've gathered from those synchronicities and we turn them into real actions.
So, like, if I'm feeling drawn to a certain career path, I might start taking some classes, networking with people in that field, or even just researching and talking to people about it.
Exactly. It's about aligning what you do with your intentions and trusting that the universe is going to support you along the way. And don't forget, X repeat. It's an ongoing process. You listen, you reflect, you release, you act, and then you do it all over again.
It's like learning to dance with the universe, right? Getting into that flow and rhythm.
Precisely. And the better we get at this dance, the more we might notice those synchronicities popping up even more and becoming even more powerful, leading us to a life that's full of meaning, purpose, and those incredible chance encounters.
Well, this deep dive has been eye-opening, to say the least. It feels like we've opened this door to a hidden world, one that's always been there, but we just didn't know how to see it before.
And the best part is, this is only the beginning. The more we pay attention to synchronicity, the more we realize how much magic and wonder there is in the universe.
So to everyone listening out there, we encourage you to embrace the power of synchronicity in your own lives. Start noticing those meaningful coincidences. Listen to your intuition and trust that the universe is conspiring in the best way possible to guide you towards your highest good.
And as you set out on this journey of discovery, remember to stay curious, stay open, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into synchronicity. Until next time, keep those eyes peeled for those meaningful coincidences. The universe might just be trying to tell you something.
Follow Synchronicity Keys with Cecilia. For me, synchronicity isn't just a concept. It's the rhythm I walk, the breath I live. Now, let's delve into its hidden mechanics together, uncover the unseen forces at play, and align with the flow to co-create a reality shaped by synchronicity.